What is going on, everybody? Victory Monday on Lineman Life for one of us.
Boo.
Welcome to Lineman Life. I'm your observer, Lineman Uche Nwaneri. This is my co-host here, JB Justin Blaylock.
Oh, what's going on, folks?
We had the pleasant fortune of our teams crossing paths this weekend in the NFL, and as many of you probably know, one side came out victorious and one side did not. But thanks for being in here tonight. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome in. It was probably one of the wildest weekends in the NFL in a long time. We'll get into the scores and we will talk and we'll potentially break down a little film. But what a week in the NFL. Jaguars down 27-10, make a comeback of 17 points. Bengals come back from 17 points. Mm-hmm. And the Vikings come back from 33 points down.
Goodness gracious.
To win in week 15. That is the first time in the history of the NFL, first time in 103 years that three teams in one weekend come back from being down 17 plus points to win their games, their matchups. That is definitely something that who would have called that coming into this week, especially with some of those matchups, especially with the Colts and the Vikings. I don't think anybody on earth, I know when I saw the score, I was just like, whoa, what?
I couldn't believe the Colts were up so big.
I was like, and they kept getting bigger. I was like, yo, they're it's getting worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody has to be hurt on the Vikings. The Vikings must have lost like 5 guys. But they had to.
Right. They must be down to like a emergency center and they can only do, direct snaps or something.
They must not have any. They must be out of quarterbacks, centers, and and Justin Jefferson must be hurt because ain't no way that they'd be down 33-0 to nothing. They ain't even scored yet. I was like, this is unbelievable. Then you got it. I mean, there was just a ton of exciting finishes in the NFL this weekend, and I mean, you're coming off of, what was an amazing World Cup. So people were going from watching the World Cup finale on national TV straight to Dallas, Jacksonville, in most areas. And it was a hell of a weekend for sports. Let's just say that. I think everybody won in sports this weekend. But let's get into these scores. We'll talk about these things as we go. But of course, there couldn't be an NFL weekend without some kind of controversy. First and foremost, I think of the Commanders game. That was laced with controversy towards the end. A couple of calls that weren't made, that were obvious calls to make. I'm like,
I get letting them play, but come on.
I get for real. I get letting them play, but good God Almighty.
Okay, last play. Let's just go full WWE out here.
Let's just body slam them before the ball even comes out of the quarterback's hands. Yeah. Oh man! Then you got New England Patriots. They made that was a blunderous mistake that gave the Raiders the game. But it's getting down to the nitty gritty in the league, and now you're seeing that these games can go any which way. There's never a clear indication, and then it's never over until it's over. Yep. And that's what this week proved. If nothing else, it proved that for the NFL. But let's get into these scores. Now,
this one hurt me.
This one was kind of deflating here.
I had Tyler Huntley. This is my fucking quarterback.
Wow. The Ravens have I mean, you know what? They're still top in their division, though, correct? Right? They're still top in their division.
I think not.
Bengals got it. Bengals got it. Oh,
yeah, the Bengals hawked them down because I think they won like 6 or 7 or something crazy.
Yeah,
so, yeah, they've really turned their shit around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was didn't do me any favors. I think I got 5 points for the quarterback here.
This one was definitely rough. For the Ravens, I mean, that really it hurts them because it puts them a full game behind Cincinnati. Well, even though they do have to play Cincinnati at the end of the season, they do have one win against them. So I mean, at the worst case, they'll be tied for their divisional matchups. But I mean, they lost ground since they lost Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's clear as day.
Right.
That's clear as day. They've lost some ground. They've lost a lot of steam. And you know, that can kind of cause a panic for teams. Definitely can cause a panic. Deshaun Watson was 18 for 28, 161, 1 touchdown. It appears as though he had a pretty decent game. He had a passer rating of 91. But Tyler Huntley was 17 for 30, 138, no touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR passer rating of 54, QBR of 12.8.
Just here for the ride. So
it was not he was just here. He's just picking up a check this week. That's what that was. But I mean, look, this Baltimore team is not built right now. It cannot support any roster shape, any shape of its roster that does not include Lamar Jackson. I feel like their entire philosophy leans on his big playability.
Oh yeah.
And and he is actually the anchor in the run game as well. So if you don't have him in there, it's not nearly as feasible to be competitive against, top tier teams. And the Browns aren't necessarily a top tier team, but they've got some talent. They've got some top tier talent.
Yeah, their running is dependent on the threat of his ability to run just as much as the actual, dynamic running ability.
Yeah.
But without that, I mean, even though all 3 of their quarterbacks, look like running quarterbacks, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same when you don't have him in there. It's not. They're missing this air of not invincibility, but they're missing like that air of a special type of threat that they have when he's on the field. And because he can throw the ball, and he runs it better than any, mostly better than any quarterback in the league. And that's a big threat because he can take that. I mean, you could have them backed up on the 5-yard line. He can take that 95 yards on a scramble. So not having that kind of threat on the field is a huge disadvantage. They go down to the Browns. Browns are 6-8 now, I believe. And they're 6-8. Yeah, Ravens 9-5. Yeah, they're just warming up for next year. Ain't shit happening this year for the Browns. Next game up here, though. This one was a big one. And I mean, it really this one was a big test for both teams. Dolphins, Bills. Dolphins coming to this game trying to chase down Buffalo in the division. And I mean, I think that period where they had lost Tua, that was what kind of sunk their ship. Because I don't think how many games I don't think they won any of the games that he was out.
Yeah, I think they were 0-3 when he was out. Or
he
didn't start, I should say.
Yeah. And they were head up pretty even with Buffalo in their matchup when, before he got hurt. But this was definitely one of those games that as a player, I hate to be in these games because it was like 20 degrees, 15 degrees, windy, snowing. The whole fourth quarter was played in ice, essentially. And, look, that's going to be their big advantage because as they lock down that number 1 seed in the AFC, you're going to have to go through Buffalo. And we all know it's going to be snowing every fucking day.
It's only getting worse. Only getting worse.
Only going to get worse. So that's going to be something that plays to the advantage of a team like Buffalo. That really does give them an advantage because for some reason they just love that shit. But Josh Allen had a heck of a game, 25 for 40, 304 yards, 4 tuts. So the boy came and showed out, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 119 passer rating. I mean, but Tua balled out as well.
Yeah. I mean, not like they didn't show up.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't show up. This was a battle to the very end. And Buffalo wins it on a field goal at the end. But that's right? They won it on the field goal at the end, right? Yeah.
I think so. I didn't see this
easy kick.
Very into this one.
But Tua was 17 for 30, 234, 2 touchdowns. He had a 104 passer rating. Both teams came and balled out. They were even in the run game as well. Miami had 188 yards. Buffalo had 150. So it was a true battle. It was a true late season battle for positioning. I don't think it really kills. I mean, it doesn't kill anything that Miami's doing. They're going to be a wild card. That's what they're going to end up as.
I don't think there were any illusion of them catching Buffalo.
Yeah, they're not going to catch them. I mean, with luck, they could have caught them, beating them, and then having a 2-0 lead on them in the division, or swept them in the division. And then after that, having Buffalo stumble more, they would have had a shot. But no, it's over for that. Buffalo's clinched, they're in, and really, it's not. I don't think that. I know a lot of people favor Buffalo in these playoffs, but it's going to be the AFC is going to be hard. AFC is stacked with good teams going into the playoffs. Yes. And the thing is, a lot of these teams will not have really played each other. So it's going to be even harder. Now, you look at like a Kansas City and a Buffalo, they're familiar with each other because they're playoff
playing each other
playoff matchups. Yeah. But that's about the extent that it goes. It's going to be those rivalries in the postseason that we may see pop up.
It's very likely that the AFC Championship will be the best game of the playoffs.
Yeah. It's likely that the AFC Championship game will be better than the Super Bowl. It'll be a more epic, classic game. And that's how it always is, ain't it? I mean, I feel like that's how it always is.
Yeah, because one conference is always. It's usually pretty lopsided. And it's starting to turn into the AFC's, turn at the plate now. Where each year that's going to be like the game everyone's looking forward to. Like the big shootout, big name quarterbacks, wheeling and dealing, these, barn burner games that are like in the 40s, very little defense played. A lot of lead changes. The whole 9, and then the next week it's just
the Super Bowl always seems to kind of it usually. Well, I won't say usually.
Maybe not that bad. Maybe not that bad.
We've seen there's been a couple of really, really good Super Bowls in the past 5 years, 5-6 years, I'd say. But generally, even with the good Super Bowl matchups, they're not as nail biting. Usually, let's take out 28-3. That's different. But they're not as nail-biting as that AFC Championship game and sometimes that NFC Championship game. AFC Championship game usually have the 2 best quarterbacks in the league playing against each other. And that's what, kind of propels that. But
I think you're more likely to see a historic rivalry as well.
Yeah, you're likely to see a historic one. I know back when we were playing, it was like
changed leagues over the years or something like that. But I think that also plays part of it as well. So the teams have more familiarity with each other.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I know when we were playing, it was Patriots, Colts, or Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Yeah, those were good.
I mean, those were like the ones that you just knew. I mean, hell, that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game was like a fucking death match.
Hell in the cell.
You know what I mean?
Boy,
shoot,
out there getting physical. Shit.
Getting physical.
Nothing like playoff football.
Buffalo is sitting. They're sitting pretty though. They're sitting pretty. Now the big question that is going to have to be answered, which I am a firm believer against it, is do you start resting players? Because I'm pretty sure they're pretty much what are they 11-3? Ooh, no, they got to keep playing because they got to lock. They still got to lock the number 1 seed. Kansas City's right there with them.
So I mean, they got 3 more games left. I mean,
if they can't improve their standing, do you sit a couple of players?
Maybe the last game. Yeah. If you're sitting at 13-3, I don't know who they're playing the next 2 weeks, but I'm assuming they got a good chance to win the next 2. If you're sitting at 13-3 and the Chiefs are right there with you, I mean, it might be worth it to go ahead and play all your guys.
Yeah. 13-3. They got the Bears, Bengals, and Patriots next. Okay. So it's not a cakewalk, but it's not really. I mean, maybe Cincinnati is the one that is if you beat them, because they're 10-4, so they're outside looking in for that top seed.
Yep.
But if you can get, past them with a W, and then by that point whether or not you can get the top seed, because if Kansas City keeps pace, then it doesn't matter. They're gonna get it, because Kansas City is undefeated in their division. And I don't think did they play against Kansas City? They did play against Kansas City, didn't they?
Yeah,
they beat them, right?
They beat them this year.
Yeah, they beat them. I don't know. They might give them that.
I don't know. Maybe you set your guys that you can make Kansas City get the bye. You can keep your momentum going.
Yeah, I am a strong believer against the bye week. If you don't want that bye week, nobody wants that bye week. Nothing good comes of it in the playoffs.
I mean, it sounds great, but
I mean, it does. In theory, it's like it should give you the advantage.
Right, but practically, it usually doesn't.
It doesn't, because you know what happens when you go into a bye week during the regular season? You kind of tend to get out of shape in like 2 days of not practicing. You start hurting when you come back to practice. Everything's sore. I'm like, God damn, we should have just kept practicing. I'll give me 3 days off, and I done fucked my whole month up.
Right. Ooh. I mean,
in the playoffs,
feels like, we earned this, and then 2 weeks later, you're back home.
You're back home.
Fuck.
I mean, the biggest example of that was Baltimore. When Baltimore was top seed, they got the bye week a couple years back. They got the bye week. They came in against Tennessee at home. This was supposed to be the run straight to the Super Bowl. 2 games and you're in. Win the divisional, win the conference.
Yep.
And they didn't even make it out the divisional. Tennessee came in that motherfucker and smashed them into a million pieces. And it would just look like they were totally out of sync, totally rusty. And it was just, and they probably practiced all but maybe 2 days that whole bye week.
Right.
Because you want to keep them, moving. You don't want to let guys sit during the season. It's one of those points. You get the bye week, you give guys like 4 days off. 3-4 days off. You practice for a couple days during the week. You go Monday, you go Tuesday, then Wednesday, and then sometimes they'll let you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're off. Come back on Sunday for meetings, or come back on Sundays for meetings and game plan install, a little bit of game plan install. And, but those 4 days that you get, those 3-4 days you get off, your conditioning goes out the window quick.
Oh, how quickly?
All I was doing, and you don't do much, but not doing much at that point, the way your body's been trained to like always be doing something, you just lose a lot of your conditioning. And it takes a couple days of practice to get it back. So in the playoffs, I say all that to say this: that bye week and that top seed is highly overrated. You'd rather be the team going in with momentum,
Yep.
Grinding out a couple of wins. That way, you know, you are playing at your highest, most polished level going into a game against a top seed. You have an advantage over them. That's how I feel.
Well, I'm right there with you, because I think at least 1 year, maybe 2, we were the top seed. Now I know it's a little bit different now with the expansion and whatnot, but it just never really played out the way we imagined. Trying to put your schedule together and all these different things, and try to keep that ball rolling. It's a little bit tougher than you would imagine. You think, oh man, I'm gonna be all fresh, and doesn't quite work out.
You still ain't fresh.
There's no such thing as fresh after the first practice of training camp. And then it's a completely different style and intensity of game.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I personally only been to one playoffs, but it is a different kind of game when you get to the playoffs, because you're playing for the ultimate goal. So I mean, of course.
And you're really out there for the love of the game at that point, because there's a big pay cut for a lot of cats.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, so I mean, Buffalo, I'm sure we'll be seeing them in there some point in the playoffs. There'll be hell, there wasn't even the AFC Championship game that they had last year, huh? It was just a divisional.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, because the championship game was Kansas City and Cincinnati.
Cincy, yeah.
Oh, well, that's wild. But next up here, we got Kansas City. Hey, something about these Texans. These Texans, you got to be careful with these motherfuckers. My goodness, they almost ruined their own tank.
Right. Yeah, don't sleep on these fuckers now.
These Texans, the Kansas City Chiefs needed overtime to beat the Texans. And I mean, if that doesn't tell you that any given Sunday, any team can beat any team, when you have a 1-11 and 1 team,
yeah,
that is pushing an 11 or a 10-3 team at the time,
back-to-back
to the limit, and back-to-back weeks, pushing them to the limit. That means that means that there has to be a strategy to that for the Texans. They got a better team than they're letting on. They got a better team than they're letting on.
When they get Bryce Young next year, look out.
Hey, they like, watch this, y'all. We finna be in the playoffs next year. Cats don't even know. Because how the hell does this happen? Patrick Mahomes, 36 for 41. Damn, that's pretty fucking good. 336, 2 touchdowns.
Lovie Smith's getting his resume back together.
Hey, he's getting his shit back together nice and tight. But, I mean, the Texans, even, this is a team that has 1 win against the fucking Jaguars. And Davis Mills, 12 for 24, 121, 2 touchdowns, 92 passer rating. Not bad. Not bad. No slouch. This team, this team actually did pretty good. Houston played well. They had a close to 100 on the ground. Kansas City had 189 rushing. Let's see here. Just looking at some of the stats. Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, 105. No touchdowns, though. Smith-Schuster, 10 for 88. No touchdown. So your usual suspects weren't getting in the end zone for Kansas City. But they did cause 2 turnovers. 3 fumbles, 2 turnovers for Kansas City. So, I mean, Kansas City got sloppy, and they almost lost.
Turnovers is a great equalizer.
Oh, yeah. Turnovers will switch a game up in a heartbeat. But they were able to pull it out. They pulled it out, and they win the game 30-24. Next up, my God. Patriots, Raiders. Now, look, the Raiders, they've had a lot of bad luck this season when it came to having leads. But it feels like this one they kind of earned this one, because this should never have been. They should have been playing in overtime. I don't understand how this was allowed to be. Oh, but it really, I mean, oh, wow. Hold on. I got a video here I think we need to take a look at. Holy shit. This is a first-person view of a Patriots fan during the final play of the game. Let's witness. It always feels good to watch a Patriots fan in pain. So let's watch his state of shock as they pull the okey doke and pull the rug out from under these bums.
Go, 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 go!
That must be the first lateral.
Go, 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 go!
Hey, get hype, get hype. Then watch the throwback on the back screen right behind me.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty fucking bad.
That is fucking awesome. Awesome. That cat was he was shocked. He was in a state of shock. Because you see how the camera was bouncing with him. Go.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
One of the biggest bonehead plays we've ever seen.
Oh, man. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make. I mean, look, when you're running these like last second, if you're running like these last second hook and ladder, keep the ball moving. If you're not the quarterback, you don't want to throw the fucking ball across the field, because while he thought he had enough on that, he certainly did not.
Not even close.
Not even close.
And that's usually like set up so that, the linemen kind of drift over one way, and then you have a wall of guys and you can throw it
trying
back.
To create walls.
Yeah. This was just like impromptu. Yeah, this guy's over there. Let me just see what he can do. As if Mac Jones
just saw the quarterback and was like, let me just throw it back to him.
Yeah, this dude couldn't outrun us.
Yeah.
Throw it back to him.
For real. He's the last person you want to throw it to. And the way he threw it so nonchalantly. Just a nice little flicker. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up without fucking. Okay, yeah, here. No, that's not. I'm trying to find a clip that I can use that won't get copyrighted, because they will try it. Bastards.
Ooh,
but I mean, it was just not an ill-advised move. And I mean, and then you got Mac Jones out there. Of course he's not making that tackle, and you put him in a terrible position, because Chandler Jones literally just does him like a little 12-year-old and just puts his hand all over his face, shoves him into the dirt, and gets to stepping on it. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Barely even slowed the guy down. Like, I'm not asking you to like make a hit stick fucking tackle, but goodness gracious.
He could. I mean, come on, bro. He already knew. Look at it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why? There's nothing he was about to do there. He's like, only thing he could do was hope to trip him by his shoelaces.
Yeah, just hope he can hold on to his fucking jersey or something until help arrives.
Something. Good gracious. But no, that's how the story ends for the Patriots. Stupid lateral, goes back, gets intercepted, and it's over with. Now that's what happens to the Raiders usually.
Oh, right.
But
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall after that shit.
Because I mean,
that's not locker room. Because apparently, I mean, everybody went rogue on that play. Like I think Jacoby Myers even said that they told him to just fall down, and when they called the play
and go to overtime.
Yeah, and Stevenson just went rogue and like kept running. So like no one knew what the fuck to do.
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, because he kind of got loose. He did kind of get loose.
Yeah, I think he was probably surprised that he was that open.
He should have just kept running and tried to get to the end zone. Like you don't, as long as you don't turn the ball over, you don't lose. Only thing you can do is win. If you break out, you can win the game. But
you gotta get motherfucked.
Don't turn it over.
You can definitely get motherfucked. So you better go try to score.
You better go try to score.
That's the only way to save yourself is if you score the game-winning touchdown.
The only way. And but when he stopped and looked back, I was like, wait. What are you doing?
You realize it's a tie game, right?
You don't have to win this right now.
You fucked up, right? Like when Tom Brady didn't realize it was 4th down, or Smith. Dude.
That's like the ultimate meme too for fucking sports fuck ups. LeBron just
yes.
Oh man, so that was rough for them, but that's how it plays out when you do dumb shit in the NFL. All right, next up, Tennessee. Appreciate you. Tennessee dropping another one. After we beat them in Tennessee, they go into Los Angeles. They lose to the Chargers. That was actually a pretty good game itself. I don't think that the Chargers. The Chargers are just. They're 8-6, man. They're still in it.
They're quietly in this thing.
Justin Herbert didn't do shit. What's going on, Brody? 28 for 42, 313 yards, 2 interceptions. It was a low-scoring game, so, Derrick Henry had 21 carries, 104, 1 touchdown. Keenan Allen, 8 receptions, 86 yards. But alas, last-second field goal, Chargers pull it out against the Titans. The Titans are slipping. The Jags are now 1 game behind first place.
Oh, shit.
And the Jags are in control of their own destiny. If they win out, they win the division.
Yeah. Home playoff
I don't
game.
think anybody had that on their bingo card for the 2022 Jacksonville Jaguars.
Highly doubtful.
I had them maxing out between 6 to 7 wins. That was my max. I said, if they can go 6 to 7 wins, that's literally a great season. For what they had before, to be able to flip it into a 7-win season, that would make them a true force. They'd be ready to take that step. But Tennessee seems to be descending rather than ascending over the past couple of years with their playoff history. And now the Jags have gotten their shit together and they're a threat to take the division. So this one could be rough for the Titans. And if I'm not mistaken, the Titans have to come to Jacksonville and play the Jags last game of the season. Yeah. Oh, wow. The Titans have lost 4 in a row.
Damn.
And they got the Texans, which
is clearly not.
That's not what you think it is. That's not the kind of game you think it is. So you better be ready to play them boys, because somehow they are keeping pace with teams that have
like vastly superior.
And y'all are a better team than them, but you're not vastly superior to them. And then they got the Cowboys, and then they got Jacksonville. So Tennessee could end this season losing 7 straight. Would that get what's his name? Their head coach. Vrabel. Does that get Mike Vrabel fired if that happens?
To lose out? Probably.
Lose out 7 in a row.
I
think that could get you fired.
Despite their recent success, you can't lose out.
You can't lose out when you're in the first spot in the division. You cannot lose out.
Unless you have like some, unprecedented string of injuries or something crazy was that happen.
Well, their defense.
You can't just keep trotting out Tannehill, Henry, and et cetera, and to keep losing.
And now Tannehill's hurt.
Well, he's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, Tannehill's hurt. So they're about to have. Oh man, these motherfuckers gonna fuck around and lose 7 in a row. Fuck them.
When we last saw Malik Willis, he was not it. Yeah.
Malik Willis can't throw a ball further than 10 yards without it getting picked off. Anybody worried about him?
So yeah,
just don't let him run.
That's a recipe for trouble right there. Need to.
Wow.
Baltimore film.
What a rough situation for the Titans. I have no sympathy or empathy. Fuck them. Moving on. Ha! Woo. The Indianapolis Colts.
Woo!
Woo! The Indianapolis Football Colts. On a Saturday, coached by Jeff Saturday on his own Saturday. And this team, if you saw the posts on Twitter when they were up 33-0 and how this was like Minnesota was getting ripped on a level I'd never seen on the internet. The memes were unique. But as we all know, the game is 4 quarters long. And they were going to need more than 2 to win this game. The Colts go in the half up 33-0.
That's an incredibly impressive half. Even though, I think they had 2 defensive touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
We've only seen one half like that in the NFL this year when the Cowboys beat the did they beat the Vikings? Was it when they No. Who did they drop like 50 on? And it was 40 in the second half.
You talking about
someone in here will know. Was that the Vikings? But it's very difficult to put up a half like that.
Oh, you might be thinking about the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins put up like 28 in one quarter.
Well, we had a fourth quarter where we put up something like that. Anyway, Indy is not the team you think of when you think of a 33-point half.
33-point game, even.
Shit. Yeah, the way they started off the season, you would not imagine
For real.
That. Yeah, 33 in the fourth.
Oh, wow. Hold on. They scored 33 in the fourth?
Yeah, a few weeks back, we really jumped on somebody. I think it was the Colts. It was like a nip and tuck game, first half, first 3 quarters, and then we just exploded.
Yeah, that's true. That's who it was.
So you wouldn't expect them to be on the other end of the ass-whooping spectrum.
It was actually shocking. I thought to myself, there has to be something going on because I was just seeing, I was wondering, I'm like looking at my computer and I'm like, why are the Vikings, why is Kirk Cousins trending? And I said, it's Saturday, they're playing. So I fucking popped the game on. These cats are down like 20-something to nothing. I'm like, whoa. Somebody had to have gotten hurt.
I was like,
because there is no way that this team
something is awry here.
I was like, there's no way in hell that this team has come to play on a level that the Vikings weren't ready for. It's the Colts. But they were smacking them. And it kept getting worse. So as we all know now, the Colts were up 33 points. They lost the game. The Vikings have superseded the Houston Buffalo What was that? That was the Houston Buffalo game in the playoffs, I believe it was.
A divisional playoff game, I think.
Yeah, divisional playoff game where they were down 32-0 or 30. Yeah, I
31.
think it was 32-0.
They were down 31 points. I don't know.
31 points. That's right.
And then, oddly enough, Frank Reich was the quarterback. And
yeah,
he was
Frank Wright was the quarterback.
He obviously got fired by the Colts earlier this year. So he said, "You know what? Fuck you guys.
Karma's gonna come get you."
He fucking
what's
put
the
a root on him.
Jim Irsay. Karma's coming for you, buddy, and boom!
He's sitting there with a little voodoo doll,
poking it with pins. This one's for you, asshole. And he got his wish because now the Colts have given up the largest lead in NFL history, the biggest meltdown in the history of this sport called football, committed by the Indianapolis Colts, division rivals. I have no sympathy or empathy. Fuck them. Vikings, you boys dodged a humiliation bullet the size of Texas. Because if you lose to these bums, if they were able to blow you guys out, and you, I mean,
oh, sorry, Colts. I didn't mean to put that evil on you. It was the Oilers.
The Oilers,
now defunct Houston Oilers.
Yeah, I remember that game. I watched that game as a kid. I remember watching it. It was unbelievable. I mean, but this was worse somehow. It was worse, but if the Vikings had lost this game, all legitimacy they had throughout the entire course of the season would have gone out the window, I believe. Because you can't lose to a team this bad with the coach that's never coached in the NFL before or in college. He's only ever coached a high school team, and he beat a professional team, one of the best in the league, by 30-plus points? Oh, no.
Without their best running back.
Without their best running back. He got hurt on the first fucking drive. High ankle sprain. Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to have to put him on the IR. He's done. He's out for the season. Fucking bum. You've ruined my fantasy squad, Jonathan Taylor. You ruined it. You didn't do shit this year. You did nothing this year, you bum. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Anyways, ugly game for the Colts. Started off like a dream, ended like a true nightmare. They are pretty much, I think that eliminated them from playoff contention at that point. They're out.
If not, still.
They're only mathematically able, and they would need 12 other teams to win and lose.
Yes.
Highly unlikely. Vikings keep their season, keep their sails afloat. Yeah, they clinched. But they keep their sails afloat because if you lose that game, I mean, you could potentially fall off a cliff and then just be getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs like some straight scrubs. Could happen. Anyways, Vikings pull it out. And again, this was the first time in NFL history that three teams have been down by 17 points plus and come back to win in the same weekend. So nice. Steelers.
Never stop watching.
Yeah, the game is never over until it's over. The Steelers beat the Panthers. I don't think anybody necessarily expected the Panthers to win this. We were a little bit worried because I guess, Sam Darnold played somewhat with some kind of respectful game last week, but it was not to be. He was 14 for 23, 225, one touchdown. Not really a bad game. He had 108 passer rating, which isn't bad, but he didn't really do anything to push them above. And that's what it tends to be with these quarterbacks for these teams like the Panthers, the Jets, the Giants. You have a quarterback who plays well, but doesn't excel. And that's the problem. For that's what's holding some of these teams back. I mean, now Carolina, they've got a lot of issues, but they've been playing strong the last few weeks.
Yeah.
At Pittsburgh, and look, like I said before, it looks to me
I mean, they're going to win out.
Pittsburgh is going to fuck it around.
They're going to win out.
It's somehow.
What's not going to happen is Mike Tomlin's not going to have a losing season.
Mike Tomlin is not having a losing season, y'all. There's nothing you can do to stop it. He's got the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Browns. He can beat all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think Lamar is going to be back in time for the Ravens. I don't think against Pittsburgh. I think they said he was out 4 weeks at least.
I believe so.
But the Browns, they can beat them. The Raiders, I mean, look, don't get it twisted, Raiders fans. Y'all won, but y'all know y'all can be beat. Y'all know y'all can be beat. It don't matter how much y'all up. But again, I'm actually rooting for Mike Tomlin. Win these last 3 games, cuz it don't matter what kind of roster you got, you are not taking an L on the season.
If this guy could win.
He's gonna make that.
He can have a winning record with Mason Rudolph.
Look, man, let me say
this man his flowers.
And this might be a hot take to some. And I think I've said it maybe once before, but this is how I honestly feel. If you actually take into account a head coach's tenure and how well they've run a franchise, and you remove the Super Bowl numbers, the championship numbers, and you just say who managed their team the best of all NFL coaches in history, Mike Tomlin has an argument to be the greatest coach in NFL history. Has any other coach ever went their entire career as a head coach without a losing season to their name? Bill Belichick has losing seasons. Mike Tomlin does not. Not one.
Not a single one. There's something to be said for that.
There is something to be said for that kind of job. And it's not like a 5-year thing. He's been the coach for how long now?
A long time. I mean, the Steelers only have 3 coaches.
Yeah, they've only had 3 coaches in their history. But this cat has he's been there since Roethlisberger's 2nd year, I believe. He was the head coach. He was given the head coaching job in their 2nd year.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever Cowher stepped down.
Damn near 20 years. Maybe I'm a little bit off on that. But very long time. Very long time for a head coach to go and not have one single losing season. And nobody can touch that on him. So, this looks like they're headed down another path to be that team once again for him that keeps him from having a losing season. But they pull out the win 24-16. Solid job by them there. Now,
next
showcase game. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Jacksonville Jaguars of the NFL. We here, motherfuckers.
This is a 3rd and 3 from their 47. Trips to the right. Elliott now the running back in place of Pollard. Shotgun for Prescott. He drops to throw. Looking, fires middle of the field, and that ball is picked off. It is picked off by Rayshon Jenkins. He's running it back along the right sideline. That is going to be a touchdown. The Jags are going to win it on a Rayshon Jenkins pick 6. Are you kidding me? How good is that?
Yeah, buddy.
Well done, man. See, I mean, I don't think Dak usually wears the Jordan 12s. So I think he switched it up.
That must have thrown him off. He put the wrong one.
He ain't have his footing right. He got slipped there.
Big toe was sore the whole game.
Yeah. Something like that was going on. I mean, Mike McCarthy strikes again. Clock management, end of the game, or regular time at least. Chance to ice the game. But instead of running the ball, forcing you to spin your 3rd time out, we throw a 40-yard bomb.
40-yard bomb to a nobody.
I don't know. I mean, just trying to out-cute yourself. Like, oh, they'll never see this coming.
And look, that has been
typical Cowboy fashion.
Boom, there you go.
No one else does this shit. No one else does this stupid shit. Just do what's in the book. You know,
do what the manual says to do in the situation.
There's a script for this shit, man. Do that. Just do the obvious thing.
So, look, I this was a game that I will admit that I didn't know. Look, I predicted that the Jags would win this game. I did not believe it was going to be a loss, even though they were down 17. I didn't believe that it was going to be a blowout loss if they lose, because one feeling that I have as somebody who watches the Jags, you know, played for them, but as a fan also, one feeling that I can say that I truly, for the first time in a long time, one feeling that runs through me in these situations is that we have a team that can come back. And we were down 17. And even in that, I felt like we have a team that can come back. It's too early to have this big a lead and feel comfortable if you're Dallas. They shouldn't feel that way, because we all know how this script can play out every week in the NFL when you go up by 2+ scores.
No lead is safe anymore.
Usually you go up by 2 scores, you're going to see that team that's winning let off the throttle just a little bit, and then the team that's losing claws their way back into it. Yep. And in this situation, a lot of the things that have been problems for the Cowboys all year became problems for the Cowboys in the second half. Couldn't convert on third down. Couldn't score in the red zone. Turnovers. Their running game stifled down until the Jags took the lead.
Yep.
And then they came back and they responded with a 13 or 14 play drive that looked like the drive that could seal the game for them if they just needed to get a stop on defense. They actually got that stop on defense in form of a turnover, causing the fumble with Trevor Lawrence on a scramble that was actually like a hell of a play. And that's where
it looked good until it didn't.
It looked good until it didn't. And that's one of those things where you got a young player who doesn't understand the situational awareness to the point where he understands that he's already made the biggest play of this play. You've made it. You're not going to get better than this.
Yeah, it's maxed
now
out.
You're going to risk. You've maxed out for that play. Its potential, because it was a broken play. You broke out of a sack. You ran. You picked up 20 some odd yards. That is as good as it's going to get. Get on the ground now so you can continue running the 2-minute offense and march the team down the field, the rest of the field, to win it. He tried to make a move. I think he was feeling a little bit Justin Fieldish. You know what I mean? He's a little bit like he needs him a Justin Fields highlight or a Jalen Hurts highlight. I need one too. I was the number 1 overall pick. I need one too. And he tried to make a move that, you know, you can make that move. You just can't make it with the ball in that arm.
Yeah, that move maybe not in your bag.
You know what I mean? And really, that to me, you know, if we were going to lose because of that, I was like, okay, I can actually live with that, because that's what a young player did, trying to do a little bit too much.
Yeah, trying to make a play.
And that's going to happen. At least he'll learn from this. Don't do that next time. You made the play by breaking out of the sack and getting the first down. Now get on the ground. Yeah. And then that play.
At least he didn't go like the Patriots.
Oh yeah, at least you didn't try to lateral that shit. Ah!
You try to make a reasonable play at least, not
a reasonable one at least. But again,
teachable moment for him.
It's a teachable moment, and if we would have lost on that play, I would have said, fine. That's fine. I would have been happy with how the team responded in the second half, regardless at that point, win or lose, because they showed the kind of improvement as a team that you didn't see last year or the year before that. This was not a team that's coming back from any more than 7 points down last year, period. It's not going to happen. And this year, you've seen them come back multiple times, multiple deficits. And, you know, while they didn't win on one game, they win on another. And then they carry that momentum forward, and boom, 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 boom. So the defense for the Jags, which is a streaky defense. Our defense, sometimes they play stellar, sometimes they bend but don't break, and then other times they get ran through, which I would say the last time that you could say they got ran through was against, the Detroit Lions. But other than that, it's been a while. They had actually been playing some pretty decent ball up until that point. I actually like defenses that bend but don't break, because rarely do you see defenses just shut down offenses. It's too hard. There's too many things offenses can do.
Those
shut them down. You want to be able to constrict their movements until they get into the red zone, where now you have the extra defender with the back of the end zone. So they can't do the same things that they were doing, on the minus 35 that they can do in the plus 25.
Yeah,
they
really
can't do the same
constricts
thing.
the offense down.
And that's where you make your stops. So that's kind of what defenses come to in the NFL is you got to make your stops in the red zone and give up 3 points, or you have something happen that forces a turnover. But it's not really you just shut them down where they stand and make them go 3 and out all the time. Now the Cowboys had a lot of 3 and outs in the second half, but with this 3 and out where they had to a minute plus some change left, or a little bit over, it's a minute some change left. The Cowboys probably made the dumbest play that you probably called the dumbest play you could call on a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9. They threw the ball. They ran a pass play when Jaguars only had 1 timeout left, and you didn't make them use their timeout. So you throw the ball 40 yards down the field to a go route.
Stupid ass shit.
You throw the ball 40 yards down the field to a go route to somebody, and you don't even throw it. I mean, he tried to back shoulder it, but it was out of bounds. It's like there's no way he could have caught that and made a play. So now you've gifted a stopped clock to Jacksonville, and the rest is history. That is completely and totally, that's just bad. That's bad play calling, bad clock management, bad situational awareness, knowing what the consequences of this play could be for your team. And then the Jags are able to, of course, and maybe it's because teams never expected Jags quarterbacks to be like this, to be able to thread balls, since, you got to go back to really Dave Garrard days when I was playing. Like, that was the last quarterback who could put the ball on the spot fairly consistently, but he also made plays with his legs. Jags haven't had that since him, really. And now you have a quarterback who's that and then some. And he can pick apart a secondary all the way down the field. And that's what he did.
Why he is, drafted where he was.
Number 1 overall. He's showing it. And now teams, it's going to be hard for teams, because you know how when you have those kind of quarterbacks, those generational guys who just kind of, when the light comes on, they can beat you in 50 different ways throwing the ball with all kinds of routes, and it doesn't matter who the receiver is to them. They just get it to who's open. And that's what Trevor Lawrence did. They got the field goal. They're going to going to overtime. The Cowboys actually stopped the Jags on their first drive in overtime, get the ball. And on the 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 9, they throw an interception in time for a touchdown. We all know the story. Y'all saw the video. But, yeah, that's my Jags. Hey, the Jags are a team nobody wants to play right now. You don't want to play them. That's the team that probably has the biggest arrow pointing up in the AFC because of the wins that they've been able to pull off against quality opponents, top-tier opponents. It plays that way for them. So, they get the win.
All I can do is tip my cap.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad.
But on the plus side, we did clinch last night, so.
Yeah, and y'all still clinched, but y'all only clinched because
the Connie's lost.
Yeah. It wasn't a clinching like, yeah, we just good. You know what I mean? So, not really.
Yeah, we jagged it up this time. Pretty soon it won't be jagging it up anymore either.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No, but definitely is A big win for the Jags, huge win for the franchise. I mean, the Baltimore game was supposed to be a turning point win. I think this one's even bigger than that because on this end, it was the defense who came up and made the play. When your defense makes a play to win the game, it's huge too. And that's what happened. That's going to make our defense that much better. But the Cowboys are still in the playoffs. I mean, we all know what's going to happen, though. They're going to be out in that wild card.
Oh, if they play like this, yes.
They're going to be out.
I mean, if that continues to throw 2 picks a game, yes.
Dak Prescott may not. I mean, come on, look. Dak Prescott.
Hey, we gotta look at
Trevor Lawrence is better than Trevor Lawrence is better than Dak Prescott right now.
I could live. Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah,
but I think
I agree with that. I agree with that.
He's better than him right now. I don't know that Dak is. I mean, I like Dak, but he has 7 years of film, and we have not really seen much of a difference in him as a player and his playmaking ability. It has only reached a certain level, a certain height, and it's kind of just stagnated there. And then it comes down, and then it goes up a little, then it comes down. I don't think he's shown what – I mean, look, this is what the Cowboys were looking for, if you don't know. A Hall of Fame quarterback. That is what they need to win a Super Bowl. They don't need a good quarterback. They don't need a great quarterback. They need a Hall of Fame quarterback. And they haven't had a Hall of Fame quarterback since Troy Aikman. And that's the last time they won Super Bowl.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those
don't grow matter how
those don't grow on trees.
Exactly. And they don't grow on trees, boy. You gotta win the lottery for those.
And we refuse to just outright tank.
Yeah. And and I mean, at least you give yourself a decent chance. Nah, not even decent. It's still a slim picking chance, even if you get the top pick of picking that guy.
I mean, how long is Dak's 7 years in? How long was Tony Romo the quarterback? At least that long.
Yeah, I think Tony Romo was like 7 years too.
Maybe closer to 10 years. I don't know. But the last 15 plus years, we've had, day 3 type guys as our quarterback. Now, I mean, obviously, someone drafted late can turn into an amazing player. I mean, look at Tom Brady, greatest of all time. But, I mean, Troy Aikman was first round, top of the first round. It's been a long time since we've had that type of prospect. As good as whatever you do think of Dak, he wasn't an elite prospect coming into the league. It was going to be a project, and hopefully, he can turn into something. And he's outplayed his status, but I think
Dak Prescott he's an upper level, he's a top tier quarterback in the sense that his ability to make a play in a moment's notice is there. It is there, and it's not, it's just that it's not something he can call on all the time. A lot of times, the guys who have that, they can call on that ability the moment it's needed. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, you always knew if Peyton Manning got the ball last, it was going to be a fucking problem. If he gets the ball last, it's a problem. If Brady gets the ball last, it's a problem. Hell, you could even say, Aaron Rodgers potentially is one of those guys. They call on that extra ability and they can just make plays late. And it helps. I mean, it helps your team. But Dak Prescott, I feel like, is not that guy. I don't feel like he's a guy who you can be like, look, win the game from right here with this many timeouts, go. I don't think he's that guy. And he's a good player. He's a pretty dang good player. He's just not he's not an on-call clutch guy. And that's why it's hard for people to back him like maybe he hopes they would. But also there's no way to he's just not somebody that you can.
He's not the kind of guy that that's gonna go all the way with a roster
that doesn't support
of a $40 million quarterback.
Yeah.
You need the roster of a rookie contract quarterback for him to go on and have that type of success.
Yeah. You have to have an ultimate roster built around him on the offensive side with the wideouts that are playmakers. And CeeDee Lamb, I mean, they're trying to force CeeDee Lamb into being that guy, and he's a playmaker. But something about him I'm not convinced about. I feel like
he seems to have a lot of lapses, some drops.
He goes through dry spells, where he just don't get nothing.
With the ball in his hand, he's actually pretty elusive. Run after the catch, all that sort of thing. I mean, that goes back to his days at Oklahoma. I mean, he murdered Texas on numerous occasions. So, I mean, he has that type of ability after the catch as well, but it just seems like he's not making enough of those catches.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Noah Brown had more targets last game. That just can't.
Yeah. Noah Brown has been Dak Prescott's go-to guy. That's been his go-to guy.
I mean, Cooper Rush liked him too.
Cooper Rush. I mean, there's an argument that can be made. Cooper Rush played better than Dak Prescott has this season.
So
you make that argument.
I mean, he's not going to put up 30, probably ever. But he also wasn't throwing picks, and I think Dak's at a two per game clip right now.
Yeah. I mean, he threw good. I think 11. He threw 11 picks all of last year, and this year in 9 games, he's already thrown like more than 11. I don't know what that number is exactly, but we'll see how it plays out for them. Next up, Detroit edges out the Jets. The Jets had to play Zach Wilson again, which pretty much means loss.
Motherfucker's back.
I mean, this young cat is just a hot mess at quarterback. I mean, he threw for 2 touchdowns. Actually, he had a decent game. 18 for 35. I mean, 18 for 35 is kind of
50%.
Yeah, it wasn't great in terms of his completion percentage. He 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 89 QB passer rating, 37 QBR. But Jared Goff, I mean, very efficient, 23 for 38, 252, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 78 QBR, and 88.9 passer rating. Just a solid outing. Nothing that was
workmanlike.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was very workmanlike. It was nothing that was too. It wasn't any. Oh wait, hold on now. Forgot totally. Before we even get into, before we really get into this Lions game, I did want to look at this real quick because this brings me pleasure. And just one more stab at these Cowboys. Let's have a look.
What a World Cup. Now it's time for some real football. Tyron Smith is back. Right tackle. CeeDee Lamb, what a catch on 3rd down. Go for it on 4th and 7? You are in no man's land. Okay, we're punting. If we win this game, we're in the playoffs. Donovan Wilson recovered it. Let's go, Zeke. That's a touchdown. He never touched the ground. Micah Parsons, sack number 1. He's back. Randy Rush is out. CeeDee Lamb, pass interference. Thank you. Payne Hendershot. He's wide open. Touchdown. Let's go. They need to make an alcoholic drink called the Hendershot. 14-0. That's how you start a game. Come on, defense. They're moving the chains too easily. How many reverses are they going to run? Zay Jones scored. That was too easy. Thought Turpin was going to break that kickoff. This is how you respond, offense. Way to move the ball. We already in the red zone. Hey, Lamb got blown up on that play. Well, Dak kept the ball. RPO. Oh! He tried to run someone over. He almost scored. Don't show us open. Noah Brown. Touchdown. Let's go. Why couldn't we do this last week against the Texans? Eagles losing to the Bears? We could be playing for first place next week. Thank you for dropping that, Christian Kirk. We can score again before half. That speed option did not work with Pollard. At least we held before half. 21-7 at halftime. Not bad. I might not need to take my high blood pressure medicine today. Here we go. Let's finish strong. Wide open. I don't know how Trevor Lawrence didn't fall down. Thought he didn't get a touchdown. That is 15-16 right now? Okay. CeeDee Lamb, what a play. Oh, he slowed down. Change of direction. Another catch. CeeDee Lamb is in his bag. He's already over 100 yards. How did that not get sacked there? Take a field field goal, though. We can match the Jags. 24-10 halfway through the third. I like it. Now Dorrance Armstrong is down. Interception to Ryan Glenn. Let's go. Incomplete pass to Pollard. How far is the field goal? 53 yards. Brett Maher, money. Brett Maher should win Most Improved Player of the Year. I'm so serious. Why is Zay Jones wide open again? They scored a 59-yard touchdown in like 30 seconds. Come on, defense. Calvin Joseph got beat on a double move. Turpin ran into our own man. Now Dak gets sacked. Jags got all the momentum now. Dak threw an interception. Now the Jags really have momentum. Do we not know how to defend end around? Now we don't finish the sack on Trevor Lawrence. This is ridiculous. We really let Marvin Jones score on third down? How was it 27-24? We are attacking Calvin Joseph. Why would you run for that on third down, Dak? You were so far away. This is not how I want to start the fourth quarter. Christian Kirk is abusing us. How are they already on the 10-yard line? And Zay Jones scored. We're really losing 31-27. It can never be easy with this team. Go, CD. Someone else make a play. I love these QB sneaks. Keep doing that, Dad. Get rid of it. Oh, spin move. Touchdown. A field goal with 3 minutes to go. It's on you, defense. How did Trevor Lawrence not get sacked right there? Oh, fumble. We got it. Let's go. 1 first down and we win the game. Why are we going deep on third down? Bro, run the ball. If we lose this game, it's on Kellen Moore. They still have a timeout now, too. Come on, Mike. Get a sack. Why are they reviewing this catch? Oh, he might have dropped it. Play stance. Never mind. They basically got a free timeout there. Like a 2-yard gain. Shoot, 17 seconds left. They got to use a timeout. Kurt's kept him in bounds. His wrist is down. Is the wrist not a part of the body? Is the wrist not a part of the body? Their timeout back. Wow. Imagine if we ran the ball on third down. They really got into field goal range. The ball went right through Donovan Wilson's hand. It was really like this close. How long is this? 48 yards? You're not built like that. Good ice, Mike McCarthy. Here we go. Looks like we're going into overtime. Jacking the ball to start. We would have already won if we run the ball on third down. Way to hold defense. Go, Pollard, go. Woo! 20 yards? We only need a field goal to win. Third down? Is that an interception? Does that count? Shouldn't have even been in overtime. Ridiculous, man. Stop. Dak can't make the receivers catch the ball. Are you kidding me? Next week is irrelevant now. I need Doug Peterson to retire. Man, it's a menace. Why didn't we run the ball on third down? I'm done. No. Not today, Satan. Not today. This loss is on Kellen Moore, not Dak. Run the ball! Run the ball! Run the ball! I'm a grown man.
You didn't lie in there. Never lied.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying, Scooter.
Just snatched the feet from the jaws of victory.
Straight up, hey. That's the NFL for you. All right, let's keep moving here. So the Lions got the win over the Jets. Jets, they were going to be limited with Zach Wilson at the helm. So, hey, I guess that's what happened. Cardinals lose to the Broncos. Who would have thought?
Well, I think
you would have needed to have the Broncos.
I think Colt McCoy got knocked out of this game. So
come on. The Broncos had Rippon playing quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
You know who he is? Brett Rippon? I don't either.
Is he related to Mark Rippon?
Maybe. I don't know. That's how completely unknown these quarterbacks who played.
Yeah, both these guys are pretty much just also Rams.
Trash. They're just guys. But one guy threw a touchdown and one guy didn't. And somehow, who was this? Trace McSorley?
I think he was the quarterback at Penn State a few years back. Young kid.
Colt McCoy, man, what the hell was he doing? Ooh, I'm looking at the play here on ESPN's website. He tried to run and got his whole shit rocked.
Oh, no.
That's what happens when you're not a running quarterback and he tried to be. Colt McCoy, I mean, I didn't know he was still in the league, to be honest. But, hey, he got a chance to be the guy again, got knocked out. Trace McSorley comes in, 7 for 15, 95 yards, 2 interceptions. Jesus. Denver is able to win without Russell Wilson in the lineup. Might be something they want to try to continue with. If they hope on having any more success through the rest of the season. But that was a tank bowl for tank bowls, I believe, because both these teams are trash right now. Bengals come back against the Bucks. The Bengals were down. They were down big in this game too. Let me pull it up real quick. Bengals were down. What is this? They were down 17-3 at the end of the first half. They end up scoring what? 17 in the third, 14 in the fourth.
Wow.
And they end up winning that game 34-23. I mean, look, Tom Brady did throw 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdowns, and he only had 200 yards passing. 104 quarterback passer rating to 92 for Tom Brady.
Okay.
I mean, but still, 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles by Tom Brady. Both were lost. Giovanni Bernard fumbled. I mean, not a good game in terms of turnovers for these Buccaneers. Their offense is just not. This doesn't have just doesn't have that energy anymore. Seems like the whole team has lost a level of energy they used to have. But they were up big. They were up big, and they lost it.
Yeah, all I saw from this was the botched fake punt.
Yeah, so there's something. What happened with that? What was? Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Yeah, I saw the post-game interview, and then also, I mean, the play in question, of course. 10 guys run a fake, and one guy isn't ready.
Oh no! He didn't know it was a fake.
But it's crazy. I mean, I had Keith as my special teams coach a few years in Atlanta. I mean, I know the guy pretty well. I mean, if I know anything about him, the fake was based on a certain look, and they got the look, and there has to be a trigger word to confirm to everybody. Now it's the fake. And usually it's the personal protector that gives the commands.
He's the one who gives the command. So he had to have said, hey, we're running the fake. And then he didn't run it.
So I don't know what happened, how this played out, but
all right. So first, before I even get into
this is pretty funny
interview, here's the play. Clearly, he has no idea. Look at him. He's just standing. He's not even ready, it looks like. But he gave them the call. He snaps him the ball. What? Punter's like, let me get the fuck out of here. So that was bad. That's bad enough, right? So now you got to talk about it. And that never goes as well as you hope either.
We won't hold you.
We would have talked to you in the season, but also you were injured.
Just tell us what occurred on the plane.
Miscommunication, that's all it was on my part. I take complete fault for that.
Was it a fake?
I don't know. It was complete fault.
Is there something that you hasn't practiced?
It's all me.
I don't know. It's crazy, though. You don't know what the play was?
So you
called it.
All on me. Yep, number 25 out there. That was me. I was the one that did it.
But were you aware
it was just me? Yeah, I messed up.
I understand that, but we're just asking if you knew it was.
I
we
messed
just
up.
didn't know if it was a
He said, I will not answer that. He said, I will not answer that. I will not. You're not going to make me say that I didn't know it was a fake.
Hey, way to stand tall, you know?
He did.
We did not go out like Gunna and, cop the plea. So, it's all me.
He ain't copping no pleas today, baby.
Fall on that sword. Be the company man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, probably saved his job. Could have saved his job.
Honestly, I'm not sure who else you could blame here.
Yeah, I mean, you're the guy. All right? We talked about that. That's it. You already know how that meeting's going to go in the special teams meeting.
I mean, the punter doesn't say shit. I mean, he's too far away. You couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Punter's got his head down.
The up guy sets everything. You're the one who did it.
You're the guy. You call out everything.
He must have, his mind, he must have went blank, right?
Right after protection.
Said it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can come up with. Is he just set a, fucking brain fart, momentary lapse of clarity.
Yeah, momentary lapse. He just completely forgot that he was running a fake, and then they ran it. And then with the ball, he sees the ball coming at him. He's probably like, "Oh no!"
It did come in pretty hot. If we're nitpicking, he went all little Giants. Like, you can't give it to Johnny. I'm Johnny. I feel bad for the guy, to have your shining moment, and then it just.
And sometimes that happens.
You don't even get to try.
And it's rare, but it happens. That type of thing can happen. Like I said, I mean, my situation was a little bit different. I actually had a concussion. But I've been walking to the line of scrimmage myself and been like, hey, what play we running? And then they tell me the play, and I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like, huh? What play is that?
Yeah, I think everyone's run a wrong play, once or twice.
Oh man, I remember one time when we were, and it happens. You forget which way the play is going right before the snap. One time that happened to me in a game, and I'm like, I didn't have enough time to ask nobody, so I'm like, we're going this way.
Hey, just go somewhere fast. Go somewhere fast.
No, you take that first step slow as shit. You just
you try to check and see which way everyone else goes.
A little, and I swear to God, we're in the meeting room, and our O-line coach Andy Heck is like, "Uche, be honest, you didn't know which way the play was going, did you?" I was like, "Nope, I forgot." Because when everybody's moving, I'm still in my stance. I'm in my stance, and I'm just like. So hey,
it'd be like that,
It'd be like that sometimes. True enough.
You can only have one a year, maybe.
Yeah, but that can't be a habit. You can't be known. You can't become known as being that guy. That's a problem. Then that's a problem. All right. So next up, San Fran takes care of Seattle on the Thursday night game. San Francisco is another team nobody wants to see right now. This is a team that is playing some pretty darn good football, even with Brock Purdy. Big cock Brock is what they're calling him now.
D'Amico Ryan's got them boys playing on defense. Good Lord.
D'Amico Ryan was good, man. I remember I played against him a few times when he was in Houston. I mean, he was the franchise defensive player. So
Yep. No surprise here.
Good player, smart player. So not surprised to see him doing well. Damn, San Francisco is 5-0 in the division. I mean, now their division is kind of shit. Seattle's the only competition.
Two of those teams, you get to beat almost every time.
For real.
At least this year.
But San Fran does a good job hanging in there. McCaffrey, 26 carries for 108 yards, 1 touchdown. George Kittle, obviously, he was the guy who became the playmaker for the offense. They went without what's his name? Debo. Yeah, they were without Debo Samuels, right?
I think just Samuel,
yeah.
Singular.
Yeah. Geno Smith was 31 for 44, 238, 1 touchdown. Not a particularly explosive day for him. 90 passer rating. Brock Purdy, I mean, come on now. This guy, Brock Purdy, 17 for 26, 217, 2 touchdowns, 117 passer rating. Young cat is balling. Mr. Irrelevant. Last pick in the draft.
Okay.
Don't matter how you got here.
Hey.
You got here.
You're here now. You belong.
Yeah. Young man is playing a hell of a, he's playing well. He's keeping them. Nobody expected him to hold the team together. That's the thing about players like in his position. Everyone is assuming, regardless of what they say to you to your face, they're assuming you're going to fucking crash and burn. So when you're able to hold up and be a good manager of the game and make good decisions and make good passes and then show some playmaking ability, then you can command your respect from people, and they're going to have to respect you because they had no faith in you before that moment. So very good for him. I like what I'm seeing with San Fran. I really believe that once again, they're going to be a force in the playoffs that nobody wants to fuck with.
They're going to be a tough out.
Nobody wants that. But, it's by the end of the season. I mean, look, I look at them as the team that can bring down Philly. They're the team that can do it. They're built to bring down high-flying teams.
Surely they will match up at some point. I imagine they're both that good.
They will. Yeah.
We need to break down that O-line versus D-line film because that's going to be some fucking.
That's going to be a battle for the ages.
Jinx, buy me a Coke.
Oh, okay. So also something that we missed here. Cam Robinson out for the season. Torn meniscus from the Jaguars. Torn meniscus is a 4-week injury. So, yeah, if they I tore my meniscus and I see this is the crazy thing, and this might be the difference. I tore my meniscus on the first day of training camp. Trying to remember when I did surgery. I did surgery after the season. Missed 4 weeks. Well, was out for 4 weeks. Wasn't cleared for any kind of physical action for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I played my entire season on that torn meniscus. Now, torn meniscus is a tricky thing because mine was torn, but it actually never bothered me until the weather got cold.
Once it could tear a bunch of different ways, apparently.
Yeah, it tore where it was just a tear underneath like the very top layer. So nothing, it would only, because we were playing in warm weather and the blood's warm and it's more lubrication in the knee at that point. I never had issue with it. Once it got cold, once we went to cold places to play, that's the only time when it started to get caught and would lock. And locked at 90 degrees last game of the season against Cleveland. As I was jogging out to the field to go to the huddle, my knee locked at 90 degrees. And I'm just standing there 10 yards from the huddle, 10 yards from the sideline, and just looking back. Nobody sees me. I'm like,
little help, please.
Little help. Like, should I just go down to the ground right now and hold my knee?
That's funny.
Nobody even notices that I haven't even got to the huddle yet. And then it unlocks, and I was able to move it. And then once I got warmed up into the game, it stopped locking. But it happened 2 times. But depends on how it was torn. But hopefully, he recovers from that. Never want to see a player go down with an injury, especially O-linemen with the knees, because that's what usually goes out first with us. And, hopefully he has a full recovery from that. But I do still believe that position needs an upgrade, as he is not an adequate placement for the left tackle spot. Now, I did have a question about that Cowboys game. Why was Tyron Smith
playing right tackle?
Yeah.
I do not know. I can't imagine that they're like blown away by Tyler Smith at left tackle. I think they've been the first round pick from this year. I mean, it's been okay.
And the Cowboys do that bullshit. That's why I don't see. That's why.
But not to the point where I'd be like, you know what? Let me put Tyron Smith,
on the right side.
He hasn't played in 10 fucking years. I mean, he looked very rusty.
He did. He was playing.
He was getting beat.
Yeah, he was getting beat. He was struggling a little bit because that's not natural set for him. To set as a right tackle does not feel right for him.
No, I don't know.
Everything's going to be short.
Like which leg he injured. Maybe they thought he'd be better over there, but it didn't look good.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
The muscle memory was not there. And then, so I guess he was on a pitch count because I saw Jason Peters over there a few times as well. They've really been just
dicking him around a little bit.
What their rhyme or reason is that I've seen Peters at guard, Tyler Smith at guard. They're really just looking for that lineup that works well.
Yeah.
If I know anything about offensive line play, you need continuity, you need chemistry. It's not going to just click all of a sudden with 5 guys in new positions.
Yeah,
Or three guys in new positions because center and Zach are always going to be, where they are.
Yeah, that was just a weird look to me. I didn't. It kind of threw me off when I saw it because Tyron Smith is left tackle. It's what he's been his whole
going to
career.
be Hall of Fame left tackle. So maybe I should just put him back at left tackle. Let the other guys play right tackle.
Here's my question again on that: how is he going to be a Hall of Fame left tackle? Yeah, he is. I mean,
talent-wise,
I wonder how is that?
In, I don't know, but if he's got one thing going for him, he plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's the only thing that gives them that. I argue that is the only thing that gives a player like Tyron. Because if you put Tyron Smith on the Vikings, or if you put Tyron Smith on the Jaguars, he's not a Hall of Fame player considered a Hall of Fame player at all. He's a good player. I know him. I like him. He's a good
played
player.
Shorter than him, or played less than him.
And he's been 20 years to get in the damn Hall of Fame.
True. Now, I mean,
he played against better players. He played against better players than Tyron Smith has played against.
I'm trying to think who's dominant pass rushers in the NFC East in the last 10 years.
Nobody.
I don't really think there's. Well, he would have missed Strahan.
Yeah, he missed Strahan.
All those kind of cats.
He missed Strahan, Osio Manura, all them. Justin Tuck, all them. He missed them.
See nobody really from Washington. Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why now these commentators give the reason why I'm really brought it up was because when you said it, I heard it just replayed in my mind hearing them say that in the game, and I'm like, but he hasn't been a part of anything particularly special with the Cowboys, and he hasn't played against anybody particularly special as a left tackle for the Cowboys.
I mean, you and I both know offensive line is the least represented position group in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to how many of us there are. So it's to crazy. Get in, you would think someone has to be like a multiple Super Bowl, champion or something. Well, I mean, if Joe Thomas gets in, they never won shit. So maybe that goes out the window. But you'd usually think of someone that wins like a lot of playoff games. But now it's just who gets mentioned the most, and being on the Cowboys, you can make a lot of Pro Bowls. So that's kind of the formula.
But it's like even the Pro Bowls, like
that's also
Cowboys players have a distinct advantage over every other position in the NFL.
They've made more with the Cowboys. Yeah, they've made more Pro Bowls. Cowboys have had more Pro Bowlers than any other team at least since Jerry.
Yeah. And that's where, to me, I think there's a distinct
you're on national TV,
imbalance.
Way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Talked about way more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Both of the major sports talk shows, are based on what do you think about the Cowboys? What do you think about the Lakers?
Yeah.
And then when there's another big story somewhere else, we'll also talk about that. Or what Tom Brady do this week.
It's just funny to me how quickly they can assign Hall of Fame status to Cowboys players compared to other guys.
Yeah, I'm with you.
When it doesn't actually add up. Like, I like Tyron Smith. I know him. He's a Pro Bowl player for sure, based on who he's played against. But Hall of Fame, there has to be some distinct level of play that you've reached against similar talent on the opposite end. And there is no Reggie White, Philadelphia Eagle Reggie White for him to play against. You know what I mean? There's nobody, because to me, that's who you would be like. Tony Baselli played against Bruce Smith all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's playing against Javon Curse. Cats who are freaking dominant.
But maybe they weren't dominant because they were playing Tyron Smith.
But that doesn't.
It's not like they went off other places and killed
exactly. Like if he was going up against Julius Peppers and just beating him and Julius Peppers playing every year and having a rivalry, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, boom, there you go. He was, when in big games which, again, you're talking about how do you make a guy a Hall of Fame player who has one playoff win in his entire career?
It is tough. It is tough. I mean,
As an offensive lineman, when you don't get that kind of
the two most well thought of left tackles of our generation were guys that never really did well in the playoffs or even made the playoffs for Joe.
Yeah, but Joe Thomas has. I
mean, he was going against the Steelers guys, James
Pittsburgh
Harrison,
guy, the Baltimore
Woodley.
guys,
So
Terrell Suggs.
Yeah,
he was
He's
playing
going
against
elite talent every week.
Legitimate elite talent every week, and he didn't miss a game.
Yeah, he was an Iron Man.
He didn't miss a game. That, to me, is enough because you played more than 10 years. You never missed a game, and you played against top-level talent that was of the same caliber you were week in and week out, and you beat them. Yeah, you're a Hall of Famer. I think that he's distinctly more qualified as a Hall of Famer than Tyron Smith is. Because Tyron Smith,
certainly for longevity and durability.
Yeah. Now Tyron Smith has broken down a little bit over the past few years, where he's missed substantial amounts of time. So I mean, and it's no knock against him. I still respect everything that he's done as a player. He is a good player, but I don't. It's just me pondering why is it that the Cowboy players get gifted that labeling of Hall of Fame just for having just for going to the playoff. I mean, going to the Pro Bowl. Not even that they went to the playoffs, because a lot of years they didn't go to the playoffs.
Very true. Very true. I mean,
they haven't been to an NFC Championship game since 1995. So how y'all got Hall of Fame players? Hall of Fame players would have got you to the fucking NFC title game. You would have been there.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
They were running them power plays behind Larry Allen.
I'm with you. I mean, it helps to have like a signature moment. And, of course, Larry Allen chased down a fucking linebacker on an interception return. And, John Madden's up there circling his ass, on Thanksgiving every year and shit.
I mean, and then on top of that, there's film of Larry Allen consistently dominating guys like Warren Sapp, who was in his prime.
Yeah, he was like dumping cats, on their backs.
Dumping cats.
And he played every position along the line, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he played against Reggie White.
Yeah.
I mean,
this cat, Larry Allen, you can see why he's a Hall of Famer.
He's the GOAT for my money.
What he's doing to cats.
Yeah.
I don't see that with Tyron Smith. It's not the same. It's not the same. Unless I'm missing something. Anyways, let's keep it going here. Let's finish this up. Eagles squeeze one out against the against the Bears. 25-20. That game in and of itself had some spice in it, but one of the issues that we had here, as I look at some of the stats here, Jalen Hurts threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, 64 passer rating. Justin Fields in head-to-head matchup, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked 6 times, but a passer rating of 119. Yeah. Also had 95 yards rushing. This cat has been averaging like 100 yards rushing a game. Jalen Hurts had 61 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. So they both were active on their feet. I guess Jalen Hurts made up for the lack of passing touchdowns and the interceptions.
Jalen Hurts sprained his shoulder in this game too.
And then there is the injury, and the injury is a big one because Jalen Hurts sprained his shoulder. His throwing shoulder is sprained. He may not play this week. Matter of fact, there's a pretty good chance he won't play. A sprained shoulder. Yeah, you're not going to make it back to next week on that usually. So looks like he'll be out for their next game, which who they got this week? They got the Cowboys. Boom. Oh, this is the best. So here's the question for you Cowboys fans. Are y'all really going to rub it into the Eagles faces if you beat them and they didn't have Jalen Hurts?
They beat us without our quarterback.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
But it's still an if.
All right. So it might be Gardner Minshew going in there to play this week, which, hey, honestly, that
when
could
last
be,
seen, he was actually a decent quarterback.
He was a decent quarterback last time we checked in on Gardner Minshew. And I'm sure he's learned some since then. So it's not this again is another situation where the Cowboys could fuck around and overlook the fact that Minshew is decent and good enough to be able to hold the team together to win. And they do things that put them in a hole. But we'll see. We'll see. Somehow the Saints pull it off against the damn Falcons. I couldn't believe that. The Falcons were still in contention for something, and now that's over with. So they'll just be diddly-doddling in. They don't have Marcus Mariota anymore.
Yeah.
Desmond Ridder did nothing. He went 12 or 13 for 26, 97 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. God damn, son.
Check down Charlie.
Andy Dalton had 2 touchdowns, 132 passer rating. I mean, wow.
Yep,
they really did pull it out against Atlanta.
I
really did believe that Marcus Mariota could have been a nice, option for them going into next season, but apparently something's wrong with his knee. He's going to have knee surgery.
I feel like now he's having surgery.
Yeah, he's having surgery, so
undisclosed
something was wrong that the Falcons didn't tell us about. Teams do that. Teams will hide injuries and not tell you about it. And if you decide to go off on your own and handle it yourself, they will cut you.
Yeah. Quick way to get thrown under the bus.
Because that's their way to throw you under the bus. Exactly. But the Saints pulled that one out. New York. Oh, God.
This one looked like it was going to be another tie.
Yeah.
But then the refs stepped in and said, nope, can't have it.
Yeah, buddy. They said, oh, no. Oh, no, you don't. Let me see here. Oh, shit. Let's see here. So, I mean, this is pretty much going to speak for itself when we talk about why people get pissed at these refs in the NFL. Now, look, I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, some of them calls that they got to make, I mean, look, if we were on the other side of it, we'd be like, yeah, great call. Even though we know it's bullshit. But this shit here.
Yeah, this takes the cake.
This takes the cake.
I mean, this is like
My
some shit
God.
you see. This is some shit you see outside a Bills game, when they do all these WWE moves on each other.
No, when they jumping through tables and shit. Bills Mafia.
There's less contact on that
shit
than
right
this.
here. Look at this. The ball. I mean, this is a perfect just image of how egregious this was. This guy is focused on the ball.
He got this dude hemmed up in a straitjacket.
I mean, look at this. You literally you're like riding this guy on his back. Got your arms wrapped around his entire chest. And what? We think and that's not pass interference? I mean, that's about as clear-cut case of pass interference as is humanly possible. The ball is in flight. You have to allow the receiver the ability to try to catch the ball.
Yeah, this is the literal poster child of pass interference.
This is what pass interference is literally defined as. I mean, it's ugly.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find me a better illustration of pass interference than that.
Damn. Happy holidays. Wow. So, not only this, but also there's another play here.
Yeah.
This is a huge situation where they're talking about, okay, so now look, this is, and I guess to explain this to the layman, this is the line of scrimmage that he needs to be lined up on. Now, it's not an exact science.
In case it's not obvious, that red line is not on the field.
Yeah, that red line's not on the field. But what the point here is that you have to define what you are to this referee.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at the referee. You can see him here looking at the referee. And he's telling this referee, I'm on, which means I'm on the line of scrimmage. Even though he's not lined up on it, he has designated himself as the on the line of scrimmage receiver because they're motioning over and he has to get onto the line because you can't have more than 4 guys in the backfield. And this receiver who's motioning over is going to be off the ball. He is off the ball. Now, how does the referee determine this? Well, you let this guy know whether he's okay. If you're looking here, watch this interaction here. Thumbs up sign to him. Referee gives him the thumbs up back.
And this happens
This is
countless times in the game. Receivers are always checking, hey, am I good? Am I good?
So the receiver is probably being told here, hey, you need to scoot up some.
Yeah.
He said, okay. So he scoots up a little bit. Now, normally, and this is the technical thing about it. Normally, if he moves up in any amount of field, he moves up.
I'll give it to him.
You give it to him. He's on the line because he's acknowledging and he's checking with you. And look, he barely moved up. But if that's the case, the referee has to tell him, hey, you got to move up more. You got to move up more.
Yeah, it's like when you slow down when you see a cop. It's like, okay, he showed me the respect. He slowed down. I'm not going to get him. Even though you're still going 10 over. Like, at least he slowed down.
And he takes another step here, and he throws his thumb up again. So I guess right here is where he's saying, he asked the ref, hey, am I good? Am I good? He says, you're good. So now this guy aligns off of him. So he aligns further back because he recognizes him as the guy on the line of scrimmage. And the referee's already reaching for his flag. And I guess I didn't show the end of it there. But
pretty short. He obviously throws the flag. Yeah, we need to check.
Throws the flag, gets them for it's a procedure penalty, and that essentially that cost him the game.
Made himself a quick 100,000 right there.
Oh yeah, you got paid on that. You guarantee it. But this is why people, that's one of the reasons why people are very sketchy about referees and whether or not the game is rigged. People say the game is rigged, but it's very, very, very difficult to rig an NFL game because of the number of things that can happen on any given play. Now, favoritism, somewhat for certain teams and how they call stuff, I don't know. I think so because, there was a point, and everybody in the NFL will vouch for me when I say this, when the fucking Patriots get every single call.
That one I could see.
And it does not matter. It does not matter. They were getting calls, and that's the reason why the Jaguars didn't make it to the Super Bowl in 2017. It's because of the calls they gave the Patriots. That should have been a blowout game. Referees kept that in check. And at the end of the game, they fucking cheated the Jags out of a fumble return for a touchdown. Miles Jack. Super Bowl. That was play the game. Anyways, the Commanders lose because of that. And now we have Green Bay and LA playing right now. I'm not sure. Let's see who's winning that game at the moment. It's 17-6. Green Bay.
Two touchdowns.
And two what?
2 A.J. Dillon touchdowns.
A.J. Dillon. Okay. Yeah, because Aaron Rodgers sucks this year. Forgot. Yeah, so that is going to be as far as scores go for this. We do appreciate you guys for being here with us. Wednesday, of course, will be our prediction stream with your Nate Tree 5 Points Vids. That should be good fun. But, again, Glad it's a crazy week in the NFL. Glad my Jags got it done. Yeah. And look, it's going to be a wild last 3 weeks. Everybody is fighting for position in the postseason. So enjoy it because it's going to be wild football all the way to the finish line. But that's going to be it here for us. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We are the linemen of Lineman Life. I'm Uche Nwaneri. This is Justin Blaylock. And we will catch you all on Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace out.
Peace.